The morning sun poured through the thin curtains as Elena tightened her worn sneakers, ready to rush to her part-time cafe job. Her phone buzzed with a desperate call from her younger sister, Maria, who worked as a maid at one of the city's wealthiest estates. "Elena, please. I can't make it today. My little boy has a fever," Maria's voice cracked. Without hesitation, Elena replied, "Don't worry, I'll cover your shift." She had never done housekeeping for anyone before, but Elena knew her sister's job was the only thing keeping food on their table. She couldn't let her down. So, she slipped into Maria's neatly pressed uniform, tied her hair back, and took a deep breath before heading to the sprawling mansion on the hill. When she arrived, the scale of the estate nearly took her breath away: towering glass windows, manicured gardens, and a sense of silence that felt both luxurious and lonely. The butler gave her a quick nod and directed her toward the study. That's when she saw him. Behind a grand oak desk sat a man in his late 30s, sharply dressed in a navy suit but with tired eyes that betrayed sleepless nights. His little daughter, no older than 6, was curled up in an oversized chair beside him, coloring quietly. He looked up, briefly surprised. "You're not Maria." Elena froze. I'm her sister. She couldn't make it today, so I offered to help." For a moment, he studied her, then gave a slight nod. "Fair enough. Just, please, keep things quiet. My daughter hasn't been herself lately." As Elena worked, dusting shelves and folding linens, she couldn't help but notice the little girl, Lily, watching her curiously. Lily's big brown eyes followed her every move, though she didn't speak. During a break, Elena knelt down beside her. "That's a beautiful drawing. Is it a princess?" Lily shook her head silently, pointing at the paper. It was a picture of a family, 2 parents holding hands with a child. But the mother's figure was faint, almost erased. Elena's heart ached. She was drawing her mother, the man's deep voice cut in. He had stepped closer, his expression unreadable. "But, her mom passed away last year. Since then, she hardly talks." Elena looked at him with gentle eyes. "I'm so sorry." He gave a stiff nod and retreated to his desk, burying himself in work. But Elena noticed his hand tremble ever so slightly as he shuffled papers. Days turned into weeks. Whenever Maria couldn't make it, Elena covered her shifts. She slowly became a quiet presence in the house, dusting corners while humming soft lullabies. To her surprise, Lily began following her around, tugging at her sleeve, watching her sweep or fold. One afternoon, Elena found the little girl hiding in a closet, clutching her late mother's scarf. Tears stained her cheeks. Without thinking, Elena sat on the floor beside her. "You miss her, don't you?" Lily nodded, trembling. Elena wrapped an arm around her, humming the same lullaby their mother once sang to her and Maria when they were children. To her astonishment, Lily whispered her first word in months. "Stay." The CEO appeared in the doorway then, his usually composed face breaking into shock. His daughter had spoken, something months of therapy hadn't been able to coax out. He met Elena's eyes, his voice low, almost shaken. "What did you just do?" "I just listened," Elena whispered back. From that day forward, everything changed. The man, Daniel Hayes, one of the city's most successful tech CEOs, found himself watching Elena closely. She wasn't polished like the women in his world, nor did she seem impressed by his wealth. Instead, she treated Lily with patience and kindness that no amount of money could buy. Elena, on the other hand, saw through the CEO image to the exhausted single dad who ate reheated dinners at his desk, who carried the weight of both provider and parent on his shoulders, and who sometimes stared out the window as if wishing for a life less lonely. The turning point came one stormy evening. Elena was about to leave when the power went out, plunging the mansion into darkness. Lily shrieked in fear. Daniel rushed to her side, but his frantic tone only made her sob harder. Then Elena gently lit a candle, kneeling down. She whispered a story, about brave fireflies who lit up the night to guide lost travelers home. Her soft words and steady voice calmed Lily's sobs until she finally drifted to sleep against her father's chest. Daniel looked at Elena then, not as a maid, not as his employee's sister, but as the person who had reached a part of his daughter's heart he thought was gone forever. "Thank you," he said quietly, his voice breaking. Elena simply smiled. "She just needs love. We all do." Weeks later, Maria recovered enough to return to her job. But when Elena told Daniel she wouldn't be coming back, Lily clung to her, tears streaming down her cheeks. "Don't go," she whispered, her voice fragile but clear. Daniel's gaze softened. He hesitated, then spoke. "Elena. I don't know how to say this, but you've done more for my daughter than I could ever repay. You've given her back her voice. And truth be told, you've reminded me how to breathe again." For the first time, Elena saw not the CEO, but a man, vulnerable and human. The story didn't end with wealth or power. It ended with something far more valuable. Elena stayed, not as a maid, but as a friend, a mentor, and eventually, something more. Because sometimes the most unexpected detours in life lead us exactly where we're meant to be. And in a world where success is measured by numbers and titles, Daniel Hayes learned the greatest fortune he could ever hold wasn't in his bank account. It was in the laughter of his daughter. And in the quiet strength of the woman who showed up one day, simply covering her sister's shift, and ended up changing their